Alright. Hello everybody. I'm back again. I am Riddick, and I am going to give a try. Last time my microphone sounded really robotic. I'm not sure what it was, so I do apologize. I think it's because I tinkered with too many levels on my like noise condenser and all that stuff with OBS. So what I'm going to do for this, because I was having a lot of fun on my Fury Warrior, is I'm going to discuss a couple things that I noticed, give some thoughts on it, and then I'm also going to see if I can actually do, more damage, because even though the numbers are smaller. So I know the add-ons and stuff aren't working right now, or you kind of have to do a workaround for it. But I'm going to pay attention to percentages and see if that helps with anything. Just because last night something was proccing. I'm not sure what. It might have just been the instance I was in. I was proccing at 40% haste, and my god, was my warrior just shredding through things in Fury. Real quick, I did want to point out that the Fury spec right here, single-minded Fury, dual wielding, one-handed, your damage is increased by 12%, and your movement speed is increased by 5. So you get mobility and a base damage increase. In contrast to, it says two-handed weapons deal more damage and provide more strength and stamina than one-handed weapons. So I don't know if this 12% base increase is to substantiate for the two-handed weapons, because let's see here. I think I have a mace in here as an example. Let's see. Where did I put it? I got it last night, and we were running around through Mythic to see if there's a difference. Which, by the way, there it is. Does it feel to you guys Mythics are any different? We did it Mythic 0. It felt normalized, but we were still pretty much blowing through it. And then we did it 6 last night, and aside from the affixes being Sanguine, Fortified, and Sanguine, Fortified, and Quaking, those are kind of shitty ones to have on top of each other. It didn't feel difficult. So it's interesting that, the gear number and all that is seeming to be somewhat stable. So curious to see how that works out. My screen is flickering for some reason, so I apologize if it's, I don't know if it's interface or my computer. So I'll have to take a look, see if that comes out on the real time. It might just be glitching because no movement, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyways, so I apologize if that keeps happening. Doesn't look like... I wonder why it's doing that. Anyways, I hopefully won't keep doing it. But as I was saying, so we have my weapons here, 125 and 115. So these are originally like, see, Mythic 13 and Mythic, I think that one, yeah, Heroic, Nihilotha. So there's a difference in 29 strength, 54 stamina, 32 strength, 59 stamina, 13 strength, 30 stamina. So they do double damage, but I don't know if anybody's good with math, but if you have like a calculation, so what would 12% of 13 added on? Oh, excuse me. There we go. Coffee didn't kick in this morning. Well, it's already almost noon, but yeah, it's still morning technically. If you added a 12% value to 13, 10% would technically, if I'm not, I don't know if I'm right, would only be like 1.3, so it'd be 14.3. So 12% would maybe be like 14.6 stamina. So that doesn't seem as good as this. So that might be something to play. I'm sure people are going to figure that out, but that just was interesting to think about. And I do like that a warrior, no matter what spec you're in, even in tank spec, hamstring, slowing enemies, bosses that'll throw out extra adds, all that. That's good to have, because shink, and it doesn't even, it does a little bit of damage, and it's 10 rage. 10 rage is pretty easy to get, so that's good. All right. So I'm going to see, we're starting at 100%. Let me get what buffs here. This. or Thrawn buffs, just so I do have the Bunapaku, so that'll increase that with a chance to. And then I also swapped over to the Embrace Apaku, with another chance for 4%. So I have a 5% haste enchant. Haste enchant. Oh, I can't wait for that too, to be able to enchant other pieces of your armor, because that's going to help min-max them. So that's why I think people are complaining, is they don't have that crutch of corruption. But then people that are played the game before, you know, are like, great, I can make money off of selling stuff again, and I can also, you know, add that little bit extra crit that I need, and it's not only limited to like 3 pieces of your gear. Okay, so I have food buff, the extra thing. So keep in mind, like Biltong, the Big Mac, all that extra stuff, it's still viable, at least for now. It's just at reduced value. So instead of 93, it's 14, 93, 14. Instead of 323 for the flask, it's 38. So, and instead of 60 for the battle scar augmentation, it's 6. Different values. All right, so let's give this a go here. Okay, so I'm doing, and one thing I like too is, if you noticed on my bar there, when I went into recklessness, I perked into, I'll show you in a second here, that yeah, see, my shit is just, and then this shattering throw, that is just broken. I felt like I was attacking way faster than when I had all my corruption stuff on. This ability, it does physical damage, ignores armor, it removes any magical immunities, and it deals up to 500 increased damage to absorb shields. So I don't know if that applies to Pally Bubble. I will have to test that out. But I'm guessing maybe Priest Bubbles. So this seems to be very good for PvP. You also have Ignore Pain for PvP. Then for raiding, if there's like maybe if the boss throws on some sort of bubble, you could throw that and it does some damage to it. Or maybe there's some utility for it, but it is a 3-minute cooldown, and you have to stand still while throwing it. So pros and cons. But as I mentioned, when I go into recklessness, I traded into Reckless Abandon. Generates 50 rage and greatly empowers Bloodthirst and Raging Blow. I'm so glad they got rid of the other one that made it so you had to upkeep 3 stacks to get 15% haste. Oh, that's why my microphone is glitched out for a second there. I do apologize. I may have to get some better gear here soon when the holidays come around, because it looks like my stuff's finally kind of going. So if you saw, and I was trying to point out while I was fighting, Raging Blow turns into like a more of a wooden looking axe, kind of like what it did. I think it looked like that in Wrath, I think, for a little while early on, or maybe the Burning Crusade. I know I saw the ability on warriors back then when I was younger. And then Bloodthirst, it has like looks more like a sword piercing versus the tiki, or whatever you want to call it, you know, the voodoo, the troll looking ability. So, and it greatly increases their damage. So I went to see, okay, so 736 and 794. I want to see what the difference would be here. So let me build this up a little bit here. Okay, and then recklessness, 1,000 and 2,000. Holy crap, they weren't kidding about greatly increasing. That is 300 and... Okay, so that one increases by 1,000. And then that one goes up by... So it's a 900, so it goes up about 300, 400-ish. That's quite a bump. And for someone like me that really liked using that as Fury Warrior, but in BFA, it felt useless using those abilities. They were just like fillers. And I was waiting so much for my Rampage to come up, because Rampage was what did all the damage. Seems like they've kind of reversed that and made Rampage like a good like filler because it does 80 rage, and then you slam, boom, 3 physical, and then you're going forth between these on a boss fight. So single target, it's gonna be brutal. Fury Warrior for melee, maybe there's a build spec for it, but that's what I want Fury for. I don't want Fury for, you know, AoE. I mean, this is a great AoE, Bladestorm, but it's only a few seconds. So, but it does generate rage. So it's 3.3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, done, right? And you're immune and all that. So it's a good thing to have. I love Bladestorm. There's also Dragon Roar you could get. You could use that again if you want. There is no rage cost for that, and it generates rage. So it's a quicker cooldown. So there is a, you know, this one is you are immune to movement, pairing, and loss of control. So if a boss or an enemy does a fear while you're in this, you won't be affected. If you use Dragon Roar, obviously you will be affected. So if the Dragon Roar critically strikes for 3 times more damage. So that's actually, So 3,000. Let me break out the calculator for this. Okay. So based on the stats, I see my other stuff is still proccing too, like my Azuriteness and stuff. So that might change too. But the conduits may make a big factor in that as well. So let's see. So if we have, so let's go at 1500 base for Dragon Roar. 4500. So every 30 seconds you can hit for 4500. Whereas Bladestorm has its perks of not being able to be snared and feared, which can be helpful in like mythics and even raiding, because if a boss does a fear, as long as it doesn't have some sort of like negation, that'd be something to test if the boss doesn't fear you, you know, while you're doing that. Versus 3,422 over 3 seconds. So an instant or sustained. So if you have to, you can, that's the things you can move more while in the whirlwind, but Dragon Roar is instant. So I might, you know what, I might go for that just to see, because 4,500 instantly every 30 seconds is theoretically way better than you know, 3,422 or 3,000 base, 3,400 base over 3 seconds. Generates rage. That's another thing, is it generates more rage. This generates 10 rage. So there is a difference. So let me swap that out here. Okay, so let's see here. Let me see if I feel like I do a bit more oomph when I do this. That, boom. Ooh, I like the animation. It actually looked more like a roar this time. And yes, I do click sometimes. Sometimes I click, sometimes I don't. It just depends. Ah, man, this just... Look at all of the stuff up here that's proccing. And Frenzy. Ah, yes, that's another one I wanted to mention. Rampage increases your haste by 3% for 12 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. So that's a great filler. Instead of that stupid other one that would just go, eh. I forget, Furious Slash, I think it was called. You just, it's like you hit somebody with a wet noodle, just eh, and then you had to like eh do it 3 times every you know 10 seconds or so to make sure you kept a 3 stack up time. Frenzy is a more fluid passive. You know, you use Rampage and you're fighting a boss, you hit Recklessness, all your stuff's proccing. You hit Rampage again, Rampage, you know, boom, you got that up. 12 seconds. So stacks up to 3 times. 3, 6, 9. You have 9% increase to haste. So if your haste is there ready here, that's why I was hitting almost 40. So I'm gonna try to keep an eye on my percent haste here based off of this, and I'm gonna try to hit Rampage as much as I can. So let's see. I gotta wait for everything to cool down now. Take a sip of my coffee. Another thing too, this could be a great opener because you do have it on prot as well. It's a strong, yet physical damage. So you could use that, and obviously you have your heroic throw in prot and fury. You could use that as instead of, you know, a ranged weapon. So this would be a good single target opener too, to like, you know, say you want to position and you don't have the ability to be able to leap, and you want to like say this is the boss, and I want to like, okay guys, we got to stack over here for this boss or something, right? And you would just creep up, get in range, yoink, and then you'd be in position. So this is a good thing. Heroic throws the same, but this one actually does damage. So you do that, and then you maybe throw heroic throw again to keep aggro, taunt once it's in range, and boom. So there's, I'm liking what I'm seeing. There's more possibilities in how to play the game. It's not, I'm sure there's gonna be a meta, so if you like that stuff, you know, feel free to. If you're into the mythic rating and you're doing all the hardcore stuff and, you know, every little bit counts, go for it. Me, I like a challenge, but I don't want it to be overbearing. If I'm on a boss and I'm pulling my hair out, I don't want that to happen. If I'm on a boss, I'm like, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, like that. That's fun. Like, you get down to that last percent and you want to try again because you got so close. That to me is Warcraft rating. Not you stepped 11 times instead of 10 times, you suck. No, that's not, no. I can't, that's not fun to me. So, alright. I'm going to keep an eye on my haste. Symbiotic price. Now, see, that's essence. So I'm going to wait for this to clear off, because I think it's because other players are around. So I'm wondering if conduits will still have the same effect, because haste is important for a Fury Warrior. Alright, here we go. Holy crap. 79% haste? That has to be... Okay, yeah. So, what is my stack at for the frenzy? 2. Okay. Come on. Come on, give me another stack of frenzy. Darn, okay. So, I wonder if just... boom. Okay. That's one stack of frenzy. Okay. So, if you could figure out a way to get Rampage to proc again... Okay. I have seen it get to 2, so... there has to be a way to get better. There is War Machine, which, cause see... So let's see. Generates auto attack 20% more rage. Healing enemy generates 10 rage, and your movement speed is increased by 30 seconds for that. Versus sudden death, which makes your execute proc more. But I wonder if in tandem with that, if I can get more rampage uptime for frenzy. Let's take a look, see. That's 2. That's 3. There it is again. That was a pretty quick proc. So I wonder if there has to, maybe there's something that makes Rampage proc quicker with the conduits, because that would be great. But even still, even if that only procs once during combat, that's another 3% haste. So I sit at, if I sit at 27 and then I hit that, I get boosted up to a 30% haste. 30% haste, pretty solid. I'd love to have 35 or 40 on a Fury Warrior, combined with that 25% crit, or maybe even higher. But, you know, Mastery, I don't know if, I can't remember if they're taking out Mastery or not. Verse is good for damage too. So, if I do like haste, verse, and crit, maybe. I don't know. I'll figure all that out. So that'll be interesting. So, but I am definitely liking what I'm saying. So, Hmm. Okay, so let me just auto attack and see how much rage I can get. Okay, so 23 seconds, give or take a second or two. I got 100 rage. I don't know. Let's see here. Let me try doing this here. Here, up to max rage. Boom. Oh, okay. That's a good rage generator. That's not a bad rage generator because that's is that counting as an auto attack? Ah. So I can use whirlwind as a filler. That's interesting. Because if I do it like this, let me see, 1925, 44. Or if I just use Raging Blow. Okay. Raging Blow and Whirlwind are good rage inducers. Yep, there we go. Haste. 70% haste. But obviously with this conduits that's up. So I'm probably more realistically in the 30s, maybe 33, 34% haste. But that's not bad. I am by no means, expert or anything like that. So that's pretty cool. But I like this. This is what I like doing, was being able to, let me try this, let me try that. There's not like a set for sure way, unless you're doing the highest content possible, to be able to play. So there's a little bit more versatility to me. If I'm a Fury Warrior and I'm okay with ads, but then on the boss, I just absolutely destroy bosses, there's a tool. Or you play a class that you're doing a mythic and they're the one that just wrecks the ads, there's versatility. So it could be. I'm hoping. Because if you want to make a raid group, you want to have that. You don't just want to have, oh, I could do 100,000 damage and everything just dies. Well, if you want to have the thought process of a walnut and rely on the game, then sure. Let's see, what else can I do here? It's almost... I know my streams are fairly short, but, it's not... Until I get into where I'm, like, doing content with guildies and whatnot, then the streams are going to be fairly short. So, just bear with me on that. I may later today, or after I have some more coffee, play my Shadow War 2. So there may be 2 uploads today. So keep an eye out for that. And yes, these always do get exported to YouTube, even if I am behind. So just keep an eye out on my YouTube channel, as it said in the beginning. It's the same as this one, RIDDEK, and then obviously Dragon. You just look that up. Should be one of the first things that pops up. I don't think anybody has any name anywhere close. So, and I don't ask for money. I don't do anything like that. I'm considering maybe a Patreon for like some side stuff, like maybe stories about certain things that happen, just like kind of that type of thing, and it's only gonna be like $1 kind of thing. But as far as for this stuff, no, I do this for fun. I don't want money from this type of thing. If I do decide to do the Patreon route, then it would solely obviously be a donative. Yeah, that sounds kind of cool. Donative, the act of being in the donation, giving donation, a donation aspect to that, and then maybe I could do hockey stuff there, or maybe some wrestling stuff there, just kind of side stuff. That's all that would be for, or I may not. Depends on how this grows how I want to do it. So if I am almost at 100 subscribers on my YouTube, and I'm almost to 10 here. So people like what I'm doing. I also do Spreaker podcasts. Same thing. It's under Riddick Dragon. Spreaker.com, Riddick Dragon. That's where I do music and quote-unquote DJing, where I throw together playlists, themes, all that kinds of good stuff. 15-minute Fridays. I'm kind of self-promoting myself here, but, you know, I have to fill the gap a little bit so you guys kind of know what I do, that I'm not just some random guy that's throwing on videos every now and then on Twitch. I do other things. I do have other platforms. So let's go at this one more time just to see how this feels. But I figured out Whirlwind and Raging Blow combined with Dragon Roar. Pretty good combination, and it would be great for Mythic Pluses, dungeons. Single target seems to be very strong for Warrior right now, for Fury at least. But I have yet to try the one-handed. And keep in mind this is with the essences still on the character. So that will probably change. Maybe conduits will be stronger, or maybe they'll make it other gobshite. We shall see. Yeah, see, I'm just wailing on this guy. So I almost want to go back into BFA Nyalotha and see with this added like haste and everything that I could stack on, what it would do if I would just demolish the bosses in a group. Because this Fury was never, I mean, I dual spec'd. I came in late BFA this last November, so I've only been in BFA for just under a year now. So I didn't get to see all that content. Get used to everything for all that. I kind of just jumped in at the deep end and sank or swam, and I kind of, you know, treaded water in it. So this is going to be something fresh. I can look at stuff, find stuff out, look things up, hear feedback from my guildies, you know, all that good stuff. That's going to be fun. But I am curious. I'm going to see if I can get them together for a day, maybe stream it, and just see how it goes, because this just feels broken. I feel like I could just... If the boss only has 300,000 health and I'm churning out 500 to 3,000 a second in damage, the boss is going to melt, because they'll amplify that by, you know, 6 to 8. So, that sounds fun. This feels fun. I hope they don't screw it up. This just feels very fun. They kept some of the good perks from the old contents, while still keeping the new stuff somewhat fresh, changing things, you know. As I mentioned with protection or prot, there is a perk in there with Indomitable. I loved Indomitable because it was a 10% health boost. So a warrior, because my representation of warrior, when I played warrior in whenever it was, I know Wrath. I don't know if I joined during BC. I just know I would go to Best Buy, buy the things, the boxes, insert it. Like I would level the character to the max, buy the next expansion, boom. Wrath was my favorite though, because that was the one I was most excited about. And as a warrior, it was always stack stamina, stack health, you know, health, stamina, same thing. And just be a damage sponge, you know, soak up the damage, keep everything together. With Indomitable, it gives you that 10%, and then every time you spend rage, you get 1% of your health healed. So a self-healing mechanic. I hope they don't break that. That would just be great, because it's self-sustaining, because warriors in BFA ignore pain, and spell reflect was that was about all you had. Fury could heal themselves better than a prot warrior, which didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm glad they did that. So I think that's all I'm gonna do for Warcraft today. Stay tuned for another Shadow of War episode. I might do it later today. I may not, just depends on how today goes. And I would like to thank you all for tuning in, watching, listening, all that good stuff. I appreciate the support. And if you go back, probably anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes in my video, probably more closer to 5. I mentioned all my media platforms. They're all under the same thing, so I'm very easy to find. Support, subscribe, whatever it tells you to, you know, do. I don't ask for money, so I hope you like my content. All right, I'll try to do again tomorrow if I can. Put some more thoughts on it, try another class, or I may play another game. We'll see. It just depends. I am ready, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next time. Next stream, next time, whatever you want to call it. Alright, everybody. Goodbye.